Welcome to There Must Be More, a Bethel Ottawa podcast. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube at Bethel Ottawa and follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcasts.
All right, welcome back.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Oh man, I started out on a different decibel than you. I had to bring it down.
Oh yeah.
That's like my life.
Welcome back.
Right?
What do you mean? Yeah, you're up here.
I am up there.
I'm just a little bit below.
Like in a room of 700 people, I might not need a microphone.
You don't need a microphone.
I don't like that.
I like it. It makes you you. It's all right, Rob.
Yeah, but I got in trouble a lot for being loud
when you were
my
little
whole life.
Aww.
So it's like a soft
I got in
spot.
trouble for hugging everybody too much. Actually,
that
for
I
real.
Super believe.
Yeah, in kindergarten, my parents they would meet with the teacher and they're like, "Please tell her to stop hugging everybody." I was just
They were like, "She loves too much.
She's so sweet, but please, she can't hug everybody every time she comes in the classroom."
Yes, she can.
And my dad was like, "Well,
you ain't stopping her."
No, yeah, good luck.
I'd like to see you try. All right, that's enough of the hugging talk, but that's really cute.
It's
that's
so
super
funny.
adorable.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine little Sarah walking around
Little
hugging
me.
How's life going for you?
Life is good.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty good. It's been a little busy.
Yeah.
So we're filming this, let's be honest.
Yes, let's be real here.
We're filming this before Christmas. So
That's
you're
right.
listening to this in January and
I don't know my presents yet.
We are in, I don't either. I hope I can get presents.
Me too.
We're in December, a few days before Christmas. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
looking forward
true.
to Christmas, seeing the fam jam,
Yeah.
and getting some time to rest and
Very cool.
relax.
That is really cool. So thanks for
You.
asking.
I was going to say, what about you? Don't even give me a second to ask you, huh?
That's true. Yeah, same thing. I mean, we're living in a house of 11 people at our
Yep.
place. So Christmas
Multi-generational.
is multi-generational,
Yep.
multi-family. It's crazy. It's crazy pants in our house. Very busy. You
So
should
fun.
see the floor of presents on Christmas morning because we just have 11 people there. So
So
we
fun.
look like the worst of the consumers. But there's a lot of us.
But there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of
to
people.
be fair. Yeah.
And so very excited. Then me and Shannon are doing that thing that we do a lot, which is go to Disney in January.
Yes, so exciting.
Once this airs, we have gone and
You've
come
gone
back.
already.
So I'm assuming
Living
that
your best life in Disney.
Oh, I'm a storyteller, so that
You
sort of
don't say.
creative imagination stuff.
Yeah.
Just is my language.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
my
I'm
family's good.
excited.
Everybody's healthy.
Good. I'm excited for you guys and your time at Disney.
Yeah, so quick note, we are in episode 3 here.
Yep.
Next week, we are going to have a very special guest.
Do we tell them who it is or do we leave it a surprise?
No, let's tell them who it is.
Okay.
We'll
You want me to tell them?
Yeah, tell them.
Okay,
who it is.
next week on the episode, we have Pastor Peter.
Not just pastor, the Reverend
the
Peter.
Reverend Holy One.
Whoa.
Pastor
Peter McIntosh.
Peter McIntosh. And
Peter
if you don't know
McIntosh.
who that is, he's the lead pastor of Bethel Ottawa. And we're
Yes.
excited to pick his brain. And
Yes.
are we going to tell them what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, we want to pick his brain on does church matter?
Right. Does church,
church
matter? And that leads us into what we are
Today.
talking about today. So
Yeah.
today we're setting up next week, I think,
Yeah, for
with
sure.
this topic.
Yeah.
And it is, does God matter?
matter?
I think that's a massive question.
It's a
What do
huge,
you think?
I think, well, this is a question I think so many people have asked, whether you're Christian, whether you're not, whether you grew up around church, whether you didn't. I just think so many people have asked this question, does God matter? What's the gist? What's the
Right.
point?
What's the gist,
What's the
physicist?
deal?
Right. So, and there's
what-
a bit of two there. Does God exist first?
Yes.
And I think many, obviously, a lot of people, most people
Yep.
have this inclination towards God.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Most of the world believes that there
For
is
sure.
something more.
There's a higher
But then
being.
beyond that,
Yeah.
it's does God even
Does God
matter?
matter?
Out of all of these gods
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are presented
what makes him
out there,
special,
what
the
about this one? What about this God, this
Yeah.
Christian God
Yeah.
that we are talking about? So, Sarah,
Yeah, yes.
does he matter?
So
Go.
if you listen to our testimonies on
Right.
other episodes,
Yeah.
I would say you would probably know my answer to that. And I would say, yes, God does matter. But I think not on a surface level, not to be a surface level kind of answer, he matters because
Yes.
of everything he's done for me. Right.
Yes.
So in my experience, I've experienced God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit because they're one being.
Yes.
Which is also a mystery to wrap our minds around. I
Super
get
mysterious.
it. We're allowed to have questions.
Yes.
So I say 100% God matters because he matters to me because he showed up for me.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I would agree with that,
Yeah.
obviously, from my testimony,
Yeah.
because he came in relationally into my life. He is
Yes.
not, for me, this super distant. He's not like the Bette Midler, God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us from a distance. Whatever, right?
Yep.
So, sorry, everybody, for that. But so he's personal to me, so I do know that God matters because he's consistently affecting my life, right?
Yes.
In tons of ways.
Yeah.
But I think what we should do is maybe start from this supposition then.
Okay.
Because that's what we believe.
Yes.
We believe that God matters. So in the world that we're living in, there's a consistent sort of, we have a very, okay, let's go Western world.
Yeah.
This Western world that
Yeah.
we live in, we have an advantage.
Yes.
We have constant gain.
Yep.
Like, it's really easy for me to go get my food. I
Yeah.
have a
It's
vehicle that
instant.
always has gas. Yeah, if
Yeah.
I need an order, I go to Amazon,
Amazon.
boom, bop. And
Next
send
day delivery.
And if it's
Yep.
not there next day, we got them,
Yeah.
right? So, like, where does God fit into all of that? Where is the need for God when, honestly, it feels like we don't
have
need
everything
him.
at our fingertips.
I got my paychecks. I got
Yeah.
like, do I really need him?
Yeah. I think it comes down to our soul. Okay.
Whoa!
So,
I didn't actually see that
sorry.
coming.
Like, so we can get material things so easy. Like you just gave all the examples of
Yeah.
that, right? So for me, God matters to my soul. He doesn't matter because I can like, oh, get this on
stuff from
Amazon,
him.
because I'm a consumer, right? When at the end of the day, when I like get everything that I need materially, like I just want more of that because
Right.
something is not satisfying me.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would say, what like God matters because like my soul,
Your
like
soul.
I need him for that.
Okay. So that begs the question:
Yeah.
what does God do for your soul? Like, I didn't see you coming from that angle, which I'm
Yeah.
really glad you did, though.
Okay, good.
Like, I'm really glad you did. So, but then we have to unpack that.
Yeah.
We can't just say a big sweeping statement like God's good for your soul.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, God is chicken soup for your
Yeah.
soul. I mean, but like, what does that mean for somebody listening?
Right. Okay. So I would say,
Sorry.
here we go. No, I would say that as human beings, our souls are searching for something, like always. And so whether that is, material things,
Yes.
whether that is satisfaction in your career, whether that's money and finances, whether that's relationally with people, your family, your loved ones, whether that's like sex, you're trying to like, you're searching for something and you're trying, I always say that even like in my journey with God and like my walk with God, that I always felt unsatisfied because my soul wasn't filled with what it was supposed to be filled with, right? And so, you have all these things,
Yeah.
but there's still you're still bottomed out. Like you have all these things, but then you still feel like, why is it not working for me? Like, what is happening?
Isn't it? I think I just want to play off this a bit.
Yeah.
I think that very much we're trying to find some significance in these things, right? So, like for me, it would be I'm trying to find value.
Yep.
Like me as a
Yeah,
person,
yeah. Yeah,
am
you
I
personally.
valuable?
Yeah.
Right. So if these people will show me I'm valuable by their words or by their appreciation or by sex, right?
Yeah.
All of those kind of things.
the value.
Yeah. Then, oh, look, I'm valuable.
I'm important.
Yeah.
I'm loved. I'm seen. I'm chosen. I'm blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the second thing is purpose,
yes.
right?
That's huge.
Because we all want to believe that we're valuable.
Yep.
We all want to believe that we will have impact in this world.
Yep.
We want to believe that there's a point
to what we're doing.
to what we're
There
doing.
must be more.
Right. So
Yep.
we try and find purpose in things like achievement.
Yes.
Right? A higher paycheck, writing the next great novel,
Yeah.
all of those things.
Success.
But where that all falls apart is when the truth of the matter is that like less than 1% of authors are going to get published.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to be famous. Well, that doesn't happen. And when
Yeah.
it does happen for somebody, often it leads to destruction.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we're trying to seek purpose and value
Fulfillment.
and that's what our soul wants.
Yes.
But like what I'm hearing you say is that God answers that.
Yeah, I feel like our souls are, listen, we're created by God. Whether like you believe that or not, I believe that we were created by God for a purpose.
Yes.
Right? And our number one purpose is not what our calling in life is. It's not like what we can do for God. Our number one calling in life for our soul is that we love God in return to his love for us.
That's amazing.
Okay? So when we say, does God matter? That's why it matters. It matters for our soul because our soul's purpose is for us to love God back. And then in that...
Dropping the wisdom.
In that is when your true fulfillment comes, your true purpose comes, your true sense of belonging comes, like all of that. So for me, that's why God, we really went around the other questions we have, but that's fine.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Because this is good. This is good because it leads me to, I think that what you're saying, I think that there's proof of that in everybody because we all worship something.
Yes.
Like we do. So I get these images, right? Like a lot of people in the world would make fun of a Christian in a posture of worship, right? Like, look at these crazy people.
Yeah.
But then you could take the same picture of a kid at a Justin Bieber concert or...
And you're like, oh, he's having such a good time.
But they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like worship. It's just that ours goes towards this greater thing that we believe in, and that other worship goes to a human.
Yeah.
But then we worship jobs, we worship positions, we worship achievement, all of that kind of stuff too. So
we worship something.
We all worship something.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, just kind of to me proof of the stuff that you are saying about that.
Yeah.
And then so specifically like Jesus.
Yep. I love that guy.
I know. Okay.
Yes.
So why does he matter to what we're talking about? Like, how does Jesus really, how is he the chicken soup for the soul? I don't want to say that anymore. I'm not saying that anymore.
Like that.
Oh, that's so gross. Like chicken soup for the soul. Why is he the answer to our soul's cry? Right?
Okay. So when we look at Jesus and like we read about him and like there's all these depictions like in film and novels in the Bible, anyways. But when we look at Jesus in Scripture, he's always relational.
Yeah.
He's not looking down at you, like wagging his
I know.
finger at you.
Thank you. I know.
He's not, like, he's always one-on-one and he's always relational. And like it's scriptural, like he leaves the 99 for the one.
For sure.
But there's proof in that.
Yeah.
And, like the woman at the well and then the woman who, was caught in adultery. And like, there's so many, there's Matthew and there's Peter. He meets them in their like oneness. And so Jesus, he is relational. And I think that's like, people forget that.
They do. And I think what Jesus does is gives us the example of relationship that we need. So like, why does God matter? Why does Jesus matter for us relationally?
Yeah.
Because he shows us how to care and how to love and
in a healthy way.
Absolutely.
In a proper way.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of difficult for us though, because he doesn't take.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I was going to say he gives and he doesn't take.
Wow.
And so in our...
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's not in our notes.
No, it's not.
No.
In our culture and in our society, we want. We're like, gimme, right? And Jesus, well, he's like a paradigm, right? He's upside down. Like he tells us everything that he does is upside down, right? So when he's like one-on-one, he's showing us what relationship looks like. It's all give.
Well, this is our biggest struggle in this world, I think. Like everybody talks about how the world is a hot mess, and that's kind of bizarre to me because everybody's just thinking of the other side. Right?
Yes.
They're going, oh, this world is just in an awful place because that side's
Look
doing
at
this.
them over
And then the
there.
other side's going, yeah, this world is terrible because
look at them. They're all pointing fingers at each other all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Jesus shows us like how to come in, not put ourselves first and care and love for the other person when he is the holder of all the power.
Yeah. Ooh, let's unpack that.
Okay.
Let's unpack. So what do you mean by his power and that he...
Okay. This is good. This is a good topic that I really appreciate about Jesus is that let's first move away from the supposition that Jesus is Lord of all and that he is God, right? Because if we suppose that's
Yes.
great. God has all the power. So that does play in after a bit. But let's just take him to his humanity.
Yep.
Right? He is on this earth. He teaches us exactly how to speak truth to power. Right? So power would come in the form of like Rome.
Yep.
And say, you need to, as I'm a Roman soldier, you as a Jewish person need to take my pack and walk a mile with that pack. And then you need to walk that mile backwards again in shame because you're just a Jew and I'm
Roman. Yep.
Right? And so Jesus comes in and says, here's what I want you to do in that situation of power and somebody showing power over you. Walk 2 miles with them.
Yeah.
Okay. So to some people, they're like, that's dumb.
They're like, what? I don't want to do that.
And Jesus does this in every way. Like you said, he comes and flips everything because what he does with power is he teaches us how to not be affected by the power.
Yes. Which is huge.
That is absolutely empowering.
Yeah.
Right? So like to me, the opposite of or the reaction to power is not justice, like a misuse of power. It's not justice because our justice is messed up, but it's freedom. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like that's what Jesus does. He frees our mind and our souls from the abuse of power.
Yep. And the bondage of that power.
Absolutely.
Right?
He's like, just, you know what? Decide in your heart that you are not going to succumb to that, not in that you have to stand up and be violent against it, but you will not be owned by it. It will not ruin your spirit. It will not break your spirit.
Yeah.
And he teaches that with like turn the other cheek.
Yep.
Right? He teaches us that when he says, if somebody wants to take your shirt, give them your jacket as well.
Yeah.
He's just flipping everything over.
You go over and again, it's like, it's the give. It's the
but
give.
That
it's the give.
is empowering.
Yeah.
Because if you can never take my freedom, then you are not experiencing power over me.
Even you don't own any part of me.
You don't own a single part of me.
Yeah.
So like, I'm getting a lot of this actually from Erwin McManus's Genius of Jesus.
The Genius of Jesus book. Very good.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
And he talks about Nelson Mandela. Right? And so in South Africa, he spends all this time in prison.
Yeah.
But they could not take away the freedom that he had in his own heart and in his own mind.
Right.
Right? Even though they put him in prison, made him sleep on cold floors in the wet, naked. But they could not break his spirit. And so Jesus gives us a power just as humans to not have our spirit broken. So he teaches us that. And Jesus lived that out. He showed us what it looked like to have that power and not be broken all the way to the end. In so much.
And not abuse that power also.
Exactly.
That's a big one.
In so much as he gave up his life and he said, but God, I want you to love them anyways, even though they're horrific, right? Like this is horrific. But forgive them because they know not what they do. Right? And then I do want to say, I believe he's God.
Yes.
Right? So he could literally do anything. He could the angels could have came and saved him from that situation.
Could have saved himself. He had access to all this supernatural power, right?
Absolutely. I mean, he's performing miracles all over the place. But did he use it for his own fame and his own glory? Did he, like you're saying here, he didn't abuse
the power that he had.
The power. So why does God matter? Because he shows us that in the face, there's a saying that says like absolute power corrupts absolutely. But Jesus shows us that doesn't have to be true.
Wow.
And there's no other God that is presented
like that
does that.
That acts that way. That is that way.
He's a literal man that we know went through all this stuff. He's written about by other people other than Christian writers. So that's the power aspect that I just really think is why he matters to us.
Yeah, that's huge. So we have Jesus, okay? So we have why does he matter? Does God matter? Okay, and so we're talking about impact, like this whole word. So obviously he has impact.
Yes.
So where do you see like God's impact in the world right now?
Oh, I go to the relationship stuff that you would say, right? Like, I think that if people would experience him, he will impact the individual. Right? I would love it for it to be in his disciples impacting another individual. Like
we as disciples.
Yeah. Like the people who say they follow Jesus, just impacting one other person. For the positive.
I mean, imagine. And I always like say to people, I don't tell people I'm like a Christian. I tell people I'm like a Jesus follower because Christian has this bad connotation. Do you know what I mean? Like we really get like dragged in the media and stuff, and like that's not persecution, by the way.
No,
like there's just
some bad actors acting badly.
There's just bad representation.
Yes.
So I say to people, like I'm a Jesus follower. Like I don't want to be. But imagine if we, like what you're saying, as Jesus followers, are actually loving people, serving people how Jesus instructed us to with his life. Like you're saying, imagine if just each one of us did that. The impact would be huge and our world would look so different.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
So I want to ask this question. How much time do we have, lady producer lady? Like 8 minutes, 9 minutes? Okay.
Beauty.
I want to ask this question. Like, maybe if we had somebody who's listening who's like, I don't know that I believe that God is right. I don't really want to buy into this. Why do you think for them that they should maybe take the chance of trying to discover this God that we say that matters?
I would say,
I know, I'm sorry.
No,
I do this all the time.
No,
like, I just
like
go
it.
off.
This is why we're supposed to have these real conversations, right? So why is it, what was your question? Why is it important?
For somebody who doesn't believe necessarily, right?
Or
even is listening to us right now and would say, like God, flying spaghetti monster, all that kind of stuff. And I don't hate people that do that.
Nope.
But why would you, like, what would you say to them to say, maybe just be open?
Yeah.
Like God matters enough for you. Why do you think they should take the chance?
I would say, because firstly, he loves you anyways.
Yeah.
And it's a very cliche, like, he just loves you anyways. Yeah. He does. Yeah. So I would say he loves you anyways. Second, what do you have to lose? Because if you're already searching, you're already having a hard time, you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not feeling like you don't have anything to lose at this point. And then 3, I would say that like God already sees you and he knows you and he gets down to your level to meet you where you're at. He doesn't expect you to like turn everything around. No. He doesn't expect you to be this perfect being, and because we're not, none of us are, like whatever.
Yeah. No.
So I would say he loves you anyways.
Yeah.
And he already knows everything that you're going through. You have nothing to lose. And he just like wants to get down on your level and he wants to love you.
And it's worth it to be inquisitive about him.
Yes.
Right?
We're allowed to ask questions.
Yeah. I feel like
we're allowed to have doubt, even if we are a Jesus follower.
Absolutely.
We're allowed to be like, wait a minute.
Sometime down the road, we're going to talk about deconstruction. And we're not fully talking about deconstruction in this situation.
Nope.
We're just talking about asking the big questions. Right? Like, so if you believe simply because your mom believed, or simply because it's the tradition in your family to believe, I would encourage you to start asking him questions.
Yep.
I would encourage you to start making him a part of your life in a different way.
Yeah.
Because it's more than showing up to church. It's more than following the rules.
Yep.
And it's more than making laws. Like, I kind of feel like there's a possibility that the church may have caused a lot of its own problems
100%.
by trying to create laws for other people to follow when they don't even follow the same God we follow.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Which is really, really difficult for somebody.
And damaging to people.
And
we don't want that.
But if they are inquisitive, which we're trying to encourage,
Yep.
I do believe God will show up.
Yeah.
And then he becomes the God of relationship that you talked about.
Yeah.
And that's the God you need to meet so that it starts to make a little bit of sense.
Yeah. And once you experience him for yourself, you'll understand.
Yeah. So for me, I actually see God in so many things, right? Like I look at this earth, and one of the big indicators to me is mathematics. I look at mathematics and I go, wow, we didn't create mathematics.
Right.
We've discovered mathematics, but we did not create 1 + 1 = 2. It always existed.
Yeah, it was there.
That's kind of basic math.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But our whole universe can be shown through mathematics. So there's a language of intelligence that existed before we ever figured it out.
Yeah.
And so that to me shows an intelligent being that is behind a lot of or behind all of it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So I see God in that way. But that logical part there'll be a wrestling match.
For sure.
Right?
Yep.
So that it's the relational part that
Yeah.
we really need
Yep.
to combine
Yeah.
those two things.
Yep. To make it make sense.
Because he'll make himself active in your life.
100%.
Right?
Yep. He's alive and active.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you'll start to see a lot of coincidences happening more and more often.
And you're like, oh, there he is.
So if there was one last thing,
Yeah.
right, that you could leave, right, for somebody, just if you were going to say, I want you to believe that God matters, is there something that you would? And if you can't, that's cool. Like, we can cut this part. But
Do you have something?
do you? If you don't, I don't. I did for a second, but then my brain went.
Yeah. I would just say, like, again, I already said it. It's like he already knows you,
Yeah.
he already sees you, and he already loves you. He didn't do anything yet, and maybe you won't ever, but that's not going to change his opinion about you or waver his love for you.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what I
so
would say.
good. I think I would say that he will, and we did touch on, but he will make himself a part of your life. There's nothing that you have done. You haven't said something so horrible. You
Yeah.
haven't treated somebody so horrible
Yeah.
that he can't still love you.
Yep.
Right? I'm not even going to say that he can't forgive you. I'm going to say that he can't love you. He
Yep.
loves you in spite, because he's loved me in spite of all that
Yep.
garbage.
Me too.
Right? So does God matter? Absolutely. God matters, but you need to find that out for yourself.
Yeah, experience him for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This was like such a good talk.
This was good.
Yeah.
I had fun.
I mean, so did I.
I hope the listeners had fun.
Me too.
We hope you had
go
fun,
off the
guys.
rails, but you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what? Super good. And like I said before, make sure that you tune in next week.
Yes.
Because we have a really awesome
conversation with
talk
Pastor Peter.
Pastor Peter.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
About does church matter?
Yes.
Because while God matters, sometimes we act like maybe church doesn't matter so much.
I can't wait for
Right on.
everyone to hear that.
So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Love y'all. Thank you for listening to There Must Be More podcast, a production of Bethel, Ottawa. You can catch us on YouTube, where we would love it if you liked and subscribed. You can also catch us on Apple Podcast and Spotify.